I have two questions for you today. First question is this: are you an extraordinary leader? If you're a leader, maybe professionally, at work, maybe you lead a team, maybe you're a leader in your family, maybe you're a leader in the community, in society, politically speaking. I'm not really sure in what capacity you're a leader, but almost everybody is a leader of some sort. So my question for you today is, are you an extraordinary leader? Second question for you is this: are you an extraordinary lover? Are you married? Do you have a significant other? Do you have people in your life that you love? If the answer to that is yes, in any capacity, whether it's romantic love, just friendships, professional relationships, it doesn't really matter the context of the love. If you love people at any capacity, my question for you is this: are you an extraordinary lover? Because believe it or not, the same thing that makes you an extraordinary leader of people is the very same thing that makes you an extraordinary lover of people. And it is so important that if you lead people in any capacity, and that if you love people in any capacity, you learn the one skill that will determine whether or not you are destined to be an extraordinary leader and an extraordinary lover. Now, if you're here watching this video and you're okay with mediocrity, you're okay with just kind of, surviving, making it through, just having a mediocre life, then hey, this video is not for you, right? You don't want to be here. But if you're here and you know deep down in your spirit, in your soul, if you know that there is something in you that is calling you to not just be an average leader or an average lover, but to be the ultimate extraordinary leader and lover that you are capable of being, then this video is for you. And in this video today, we're going to talk about the number one quality of all extraordinary leaders and lovers. And we're also going to talk about how to develop this one skill that makes us extraordinary leaders and extraordinary lovers. So stay tuned to the end of the video. Hi, I'm so glad you're back on this channel. Welcome. My name is Jamal Javanji. I'm a life coach by profession. I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book called Living for a Living. And I'm also the founder and CEO of a coaching company called Free to Love Coaching Solutions, LLC. So I want to talk to you today about this one quality that makes the most extraordinary leaders and the most extraordinary lovers extraordinary at what they do. Okay, are you ready for it? I've had the privilege of meeting lots of people from all over the world, actually. And there aren't very many people who have mastered this skill. And I haven't shared the skill with you yet, but I want you to tune in. I'm going to share with you the number one skill that's going to determine whether or not you succeed as an extraordinary leader and as an extraordinary lover, okay? Very few people in my life have I met that actually exhibit this number one, the most important leadership quality and number one quality of all lovers, okay? You ready for it? You ready for this quality? Okay? Here's the quality that all leaders, extraordinary leaders and lovers have. And that is this: they have the ability, and they not just have the ability, but they actually exude the quality of presence. Presence. Let me say it again. Presence. Very few people that you know and very few people that I know actually are present. This is what I've discovered. Now, here's what I've learned in my own life: that presence is something that all human beings have capability of being. We all have the ability to be present, but very few people actually are present. So what I'd like to talk about in today's video is this. I want to talk about three exercises all of us can do today, starting right now today, that can start to develop all of us into extraordinary leaders and extraordinary lovers, because we need more leaders and more lovers in this world now more than probably we have ever needed them, okay? Number one, to cultivate presence. These three characteristics are going to really help you cultivate radical presence in the lives of the people that you are leading and also the people that you seek to love, okay? Number one characteristic is this. If you want to develop presence in your own life, we must learn how, and this is going to sound crazy, but bear with me here. We got to learn how to be bored again. Bored. We have to learn how to be bored again. Like B-O-A-R-D, bored. You know how when kids say, I'm just so bored, right? Our society, because of technology, right? We have these things called cell phones and technology and music and all the things we do. Most people have learned how, or I should say this, the majority of people in our society have forgotten how to actually be bored. Now there's something extraordinary that happens, and we're not going to get into all the science behind what happens to your nervous system and also your brain health when you're bored. But being bored is really healthy for people. And especially as children, right? When children complain about being bored, they don't like it. But in the quest of being bored, we are learning how to self-regulate. We're actually learning how to notice, to pay attention to life around us. But because most of us have forgotten how to be bored, we fill the gaps, we fill the space. And in boredom, amazing things happen. Amazing things happen. Now, have you ever, and here's just something I want to mention to you. Have you ever been in a state where you've been stressed out and your mind is kind of busy and you're thinking of a lot of things, right? And have you ever just taken a nice, relaxing, warm, hot shower? Have you ever done that? Just taking a nice hot shower. Yeah. What happens? Usually you feel better, but more times than not, you have these epiphanies, these inspired thoughts, things become clear to you in a warm, relaxing shower as the water is running over your body. What's happening? You're getting inspired. You're figuring things out. Well, believe it or not, boredom can be like that. So when we learn how to be bored, even though maybe it doesn't feel as relaxing because we don't have nice warm water flowing over our skin, that just helps us access that state. But when you learn how to be bored, you're actually learning how to be present with yourself. And it takes time to actually learn how to actually be okay with being in your own presence. And this is where everything starts. When you're bored, you are learning to enjoy you, your consciousness, your presence. And in that space, there's a tremendous processing that happens, self-regulation that's happening. Things are becoming clear, just like in a warm shower when people often say they get inspired thoughts in the shower. It's because they're with themselves. But believe it or not, you don't always have to just get in the shower to be present with yourself. You can learn how to be present with yourself anytime. So the next time you have a free minute, 30 seconds, maybe you are driving in a car and you go to a stoplight, pay attention? Do you check your phone in the car when you're driving, when you come to a red light and a stop? What do you do for that 30 to 60 seconds when you're sitting at a stoplight? That is a perfect opportunity to be bored. Do nothing. Sit with yourself. Resist the urge to pick up your phone. You can train yourself to not pick up the phone. This might sound a little gross. Another time you can resist the urge to pick up the phone and to learn to be bored is going to the bathroom. That's right, going to the bathroom. So many people bring their phones with them into the bathroom. I know it's common, right? Most everybody does it. I want to challenge you to leave your phone out of the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, be with yourself. Resist the urge of scrolling and checking things. Learn how to be bored. Another area where you can learn to be bored is waiting in line. If you're at a grocery store, you're waiting for somebody, no matter what it is, keep your phone in your pocket. Don't pull it out. Be present. Look around. Notice people. Smell, take a deep breath, smell the air. Notice the surroundings. Just be present. Maybe you're taking a walk. Maybe you're going to the gym. Maybe you're walking on a treadmill at the gym. Instead of throwing the headphones on, or maybe just take 5 minutes instead of listening to something or watching something as you're walking on the treadmill or walking a lap or walking out in nature, just to be present without any stimulation. Just notice what's around you. Take a deep breath in. Look at the other people around you. Look at nature around you. Resist the urge to distract yourself. Okay, I could go on and on. We have to learn how to be bored again. If there's one, I've often joked with my wife, who's a teacher, and I've often said, if I could teach one class in schools for kids, it would be a class on boredom. And the whole class would be a demonstration of how to actually be bored, because we have forgotten this essential life skill. Okay, that is a massive characteristic. That's the first characteristic I want to tell you about today. That's actually going to help you become more present in life so that you can become a better leader and a better lover. Okay, you ready for the second characteristic? Okay, here it is. Second characteristic of learning how to be profoundly present is this. You have to learn, and this is a big one, and this is what I teach in my coaching program when I work with folks one-on-one. We have to learn how to actually stop thinking of our emotions, and we have to learn how to actually feel our emotions. Now, this may sound very easy to say. It's profound. And the majority of folks I work with have to learn how to somatically in the body actually feel the emotions in their body, because we haven't learned how to do that. Most people think their emotions, they don't feel their emotions. Let me say that again. Most of us are thinking our emotions, we're not feeling them. And you know, when I'm in conversations with people, sometimes I'll ask people this question, hey, how do you feel about that? How does that situation make you feel? And I can't tell you if I had a dime for every time somebody responded to that question like this. Well, you know, I think, and they'll actually say it, I'll say, hey, how does that make you feel? Well, you know, I think this situation happened because blah, 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 or I think this person is really selfish, or I think blah, blah, blah. And they'll just start talking about what they think when I ask them, how did you feel? Not what did you think? How did you actually feel? Because feeling is vulnerable. It's very vulnerable. To feel is vulnerable. So one of the things that you can learn to do is to actually feel your emotions. Okay? One of the ways to feel is to actually not have any commentary about what you feel. Not have any judgment about what you feel. Now, let me give you an example, right? Let's just say you had a conversation with somebody and you didn't like what they were saying and they made you mad, okay? So one of the things that we typically do is we get in our head and we start thinking about, oh, well, that person is, the reason they did this is because of this, or that person did this because they're horrible people, or we have a judgment or a story about that. That's not actually helpful to feeling your emotion. It may be true, but it's not actually helpful. It doesn't help you feel your emotions. And if you want to become present in life, you have to learn how to feel. So one of the things that you can do to feel is simply state, what is the emotion that you're feeling? Sometimes saying out loud, you know, that situation brought up a feeling of, and I like to say brought up, not makes me, but brought up a feeling of anger. It brought up a feeling of sadness. So I might say, you know, I feel really sad. That situation triggered in me a feeling of sadness. That situation brought up in me a feeling of anger. That situation brought up in me a feeling of disappointment, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? State the emotion that you feel. And then secondly, locate it in your body. Because when you feel emotions, it's energy, right? The word emotion, actually, this is kind of a fun way I like to help folks remember what an emotion is. Emotion begins with the letter E. E equals energy. So an emotion is energy in motion. It's simply energy that's trying to move in your body. Energy in motion. Emotion, energy in motion. So when you feel an emotion, it's energy in your body that's trying to move. So first and foremost, you want to identify what you're feeling, name the emotion, sadness, happiness, joy, fear. I feel afraid. That situation brought up in me a feeling of being afraid. So then locate it. Where is it? Where do you feel it in the body? And if you close your eyes and lean in, this takes some practice. If you close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you're feeling, let's say, for example, if you're feeling anger, where do you feel the anger? I'll close my eyes and I may feel it in my chest, and I'll put my hand on my chest. Maybe I feel it in my gut, in my belly. I'll put my hand on my belly. Sometimes it's upper stomach, sometimes it's lower belly. You just take your hand. If you're right-handed, you pick your right hand and you just put it there and you feel it. The sadness, I feel it in my stomach. The fear, I feel it in maybe it's shame. I feel it in my lower abdomen, just below the belly button. Okay, let me put my hand right there and just feel it. And take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And you just feel the emotion, just like that. You just feel it. No commentary. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to resolve it. You just learn to feel it. So when you feel an emotion, you know what's happening? That's right. You're becoming present, radically present with yourself and how you feel. Before you can actually be an extraordinary leader and lover for other people, you have to learn to become present to yourself, because you can't be present to other people if you're not present with yourself. And one of the ways that we can learn how to be present with ourselves is by learning how to feel our emotions, not just think our emotions, feel it. Does that make sense? Okay. The third characteristic that we can, or third skill that we can cultivate and develop in our own lives that will help us be present is this. We need to learn how to become a journalist, a true journalist. So journalism isn't just for folks who report on the news, even though that's important as well. One of the most underrated skills that extraordinary lovers and leaders have is they think like journalists. So a journalist is always curious. There's always asking questions. And a good journalist, a true journalist, suspends judgment. They just listen. The best journalists, when they interview somebody, they are interested, they are curious, and they ask great questions because they really want to know that other person. They want to know what that person is thinking, what that person is feeling, and they want to capture that. And I've been around some extraordinary leaders in my life and extraordinary lovers as well. And people who lead and love well, they all have this characteristic. They're great journalists. They ask you questions. They're curious about you. The vast majority of people that you encounter, and this is probably, and if you're watching this video, I'm sure you can attest to this. The vast majority of people that you interact with on a daily basis are profoundly uncurious about you. Have you noticed that? They're in their own world. They're thinking about their life, what they got going on, which is normal. Doesn't mean they're bad people. But most people are profoundly uncurious. Because if you're going to love people and lead them well, you actually have to be really curious about them. Not superficially curious, honestly curious. And the only way you can really be honestly curious about other people is if you develop that even about yourself. I'm very curious personally. One of the things I love to do is actually ask myself a lot of questions. When I'm with myself, I'm curious. Jamal, why do you feel this way? Jamal, why do you notice what you notice? Why does this person keep coming to your mind? Why do you notice them? Why do you find this person to be intriguing to you? Why do you love this about that person? Why do you feel annoyed by this quality with this person? So it's becoming very curious without judgment. Just becoming curious, because curiosity leads to discovery. And if you can learn to be curious about you and your life and what's happening in your world, you can then project that, because everything's projection. You can then learn to become curious about other people. So next time you're around other people, which is probably today, right? Do some self-inventory, self-evaluation. Did you ask that person questions about them? I don't do it as a checklist. I'm legitimately curious. But if you want to develop, a lot of people Until you develop this skill of a journalist, you're just not very curious, which is okay. So that needs to be cultivated. So sometimes you have to literally go into a situation in advance thinking of questions that you want to ask that person if it doesn't come natural for you. Okay? So if you're going to have coffee with somebody, if you're going to meet somebody, let's say you know you're going to be spending time with another person in the future, in the near future, it can be good to start thinking of questions that you want to ask them ahead of time, because those questions will develop your own curiosity. And when you're with that person and you are curious about them, they're going to feel tremendously valued and loved. And that is an essential quality of all great leaders and lovers. Do you know another word? And I tell people this a lot when I'm working with folks. I tell people this all the time. Love, another word for love, is witness. Witness. To love somebody is to profoundly witness them. There's actually a line from a film, I believe the film is called Shall We Dance? And it really expresses this beautifully. So take a look at this.
Why is it, do you think, that people get married?
Passion.
No.
It's interesting because I would have taken you for a romantic. Why then?
Because we need a witness to our lives. There's 1 billion people on the planet. I mean, what does any one life really mean? But in a marriage, you're promising to care about everything. The good things, the bad things, the terrible things, the mundane things. All of it, all the time, every day. You're saying your life will not go unnoticed because I will notice it. Your life will not go unwitnessed because I will be your witness.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? It's true. If you want to love it in an extraordinary way, and if you want to lead others, you have to learn to witness them. And in order to do that, you have to learn to become a journalist, okay? So these 3 characteristics that I talked about today are key if you're going to become a great leader and lover in this life, okay? Number 1, we have to learn to embrace boredom. Number 2, we have to learn to really deeply get present to and feel our own emotions. Not think about them, actually feel them, to get into the body and feel them. And number 3, we have to learn how to become a journalist. Curiosity, questions, seeking to witness other people. If you do those 3 things, you will become profoundly present. Your life will change radically, I guarantee you. Now, if this has resonated with you at all, I'd love to hear in the comments section. Please put in the comments, which one of these characteristics do you do well at, right? Because maybe you're watching this video and maybe you've heard these 3 characteristics and you're like, wow, I have all 3. I feel really good about myself. Hey, that's fantastic. Please share that in the comment section. We'd love to hear about that. Maybe you've heard these 3 characteristics and you have thought to yourself like, you know, this is the characteristic I need to really cultivate more in my own life. Which one do you feel like maybe you need some work at, right? We really would love to hear that in the comment section. So feel free to put that in there. And if you would, if this video has been helpful for you, if it's spoke to you in any way, let me encourage you to hit the like button. It really helps this video get discovered. And please subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss future videos that we put out here. And it's a great way to help this channel grow and to get visibility if you would do that. It's free, it's very easy. I put these videos out as a service. Really, they're obviously free. They're a service to humanity. That's why I do it. It's very satisfying and fulfilling for me to do it. And I always love to hear who's watching this video and, you know, and if this content is resonating with you. And like I mentioned, I am a life coach by profession. I work with lots of people. And if you feel like, you know, I'd like to find out some more information about life coaching and the services that I offer, you can just go to that link and in the show notes, and then you can visit my page and get a chance to hear a little bit more about the coaching work that I do. And if you'd like to schedule a Zoom call to meet with someone and to hear more about if coaching is a good fit for you, I'd be more than happy to talk with you about that. So the link is in the show notes. Feel free to visit that link and schedule your call today. Until next time, I'm really glad we were able to have this conversation, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.